ESPN, and it's a big-time atmosphere in the Queen City today. It's the conference home opener for number 16 Cincinnati and the first Big 12 road game ever for the Arizona Wildcats. Cincy off to a great start this season. Dan Skilling's a season-high 18 at Kansas State last time out, and a key part of a deep and versatile Cincinnati club looking to make their first NCAA tournament appearance in 5 years. Happy New Year, everybody. It's a packed house inside Fifth Third Arena. I'm Rich Hollenberg. This is Fran Fraschilla. So, Fran, for the first time in Big 12 play, it's the Bearcats versus Bear Down, and it's strength on strength.
Cincinnati, one of the best defensive teams in the country. They have experience and depth. Arizona loves to get up and down the court, and why not? They have one of the best players in college basketball who has to be good tonight.
That player is Caleb Love. He's a preseason All-American, and he goes, so does Arizona.
Without a question. Last year's Pac-12 Player of the Year, now he's going to try to do it in the Big 12. And Rich, when he gets 20 or more, the Cats are 4-1.
Here's the last 3 games from Caleb Love, averaging just under 27 a game, and that includes a 33-point Big 12 premier effort against TCU. He also contributed 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and no turnovers in that win last week. But today, it's a whole different animal. On the road in hostile territory against one of the best defenses and one of the best teams in the country. Your officials, Tony Padilla, Brett Smith, Kip Kissinger. Cincy in their home whites controls the opening tip.
Cincinnati's going to play 5 out. They spread it. They love to get downhill, and they love to lob that basketball to Bandago and Mitchell.
Jizzle James, number 2 in white. What a jump from freshman year to sophomore year it's been for him. 8 on the shot clock for the Bearcats. Here's James. There's the lob, and right on cue, Aziz Bandago throws it home.
And Tommy Lloyd made that a point yesterday. We can't let those guards get downhill and throw those lobs.
The number 2 dunker in all of college basketball, Aziz Bandago, opens the score.
Arizona will be a downhill pick-and-roll team.
And Anthony Delorso gets them in the scoring column.
Transfer from Campbell, young man from Australia.
Here's Dylan Mitchell, the Texas transfer, and an offensive foul called on 23 and 1.
Dylan ran a player over at Kansas State. He's got to be really careful. But a good defensive play right there, because they know he is a hard-driving 6'8" forward.
We talked about the Bearcats offense. What do we expect from Arizona's offense, Fran?
3 guards, and they really love the pick-and-roll game. You'll see Awaka particularly, later on Bizars, in that drive and drift, pick and roll.
Here's Caleb Love with the left hand. It rolls off the rim, and Lukosius clears.
Thing about the Bearcats is they go 8 deep, and they've got 8 different guys who can get you 15 on a given night. James.
Now Lukosius, he had it knocked away, and Trey Townsend comes away with it. Here's Delorso. Tommy Lloyd's come 3-0 with this starting lineup. Their first 3-game winning streak of the season, and what's been an uneven start for Tommy Lloyd and the Arizona Wildcats. He turned 50 last month, but he's already averaged 29 wins in his first 3 years as a head coach. That coming, of course, after 22 years as one of Mark Few's top assistants.
And this year will certainly be his most difficult season. Off to a slow start, no quad 1 wins, but certainly the talent to get it going.
Delorso hits the first. He's got all 3 Arizona points.
He averaged about 20 points a game last year in the Colonial for the Campbell Camels, in case you were wondering.
So an early 4-2 lead for the Wildcats, their first ever Big 12 road game. 2 minutes gone by. Number 2 in white, Jizzle James gives it up. Skillings, nice feed to Mitchell, and 2 Cincy buckets, 2 dunks.
Well, 2 of the best dunkers in college basketball, and the Texas transfer has been a great fit for the Bearcats. You are going to love his defense and his energy.
Bandego playing up the line. Here's Townsend. And he misses his first shot attempt, cleared by Bandego. James in the corner. Mitchell off the mark on the three. He had 2 threes in their loss at Kansas State.
It's an area that he's improved.
Here's Love. Lost the handle. Now Jaden Bradley, 0 and blue. Del Orso off the mark. The rebound cleared by Bandego.
A terrific job by Bandego. He jumped right over Awaka.
Skillings, quick release, but it's short. Saved by Bandego, and it looked like it went off Awaka's and then Bandego's head.
Correct. Tony Padilla right on it on the baseline. Good hustle both ways. Take a watch Aziz right here. He throws it off Awaka, but it comes right back and hits Bandego. Good hustle.
It's almost like a quarterback getting a line pass tipped at the line and then catching his own pass.
Jaden Bradley, the Alabama transfer.
Here's Awaka, the Tennessee transfer. Working on Bandego, and he traveled. Well, Cincinnati is known for its defense, and Wes Miller preaches that. He turned 42 in a few weeks. He's in his 4th year at the helm in Cincinnati. Before the Bearcats, he bled Carolina blue as a player under his mentor, Roy Williams.
Yeah, but we love watching him coach and practice games. He's got a great relationship with his players. He was a captain at North Carolina, also played on the 2005 National Championship team. Sean May, Richard McCants, some terrific players, and he is a terrific young coach.
Amazing how just 4 years into his tenure in Cincinnati, he has a well-defined culture here in the Queen City.
Great recruiting class coming in too, and some good young players on this roster.
Miller goes to his bench, 22 in white. Aridin Page on the floor, the USC transfer. And that foul's going to go on Jaden Bradley, his first.
We talk about his relationship. Stan Skillings, the young man at the foul line, Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia. Rich, he was not heavily recruited during the COVID period. Wes Miller made him a priority, and when you talk to people in the Philly area, they said he did a great job of establishing a relationship with Dan Skillings. And in fact, remember, this team's got a lot of veterans who could have gone other places, and they've elected to help him build that culture you're talking about.
And a great sign early. Fans might discount this, but hitting 2 free throws early for this Cincinnati ball club is big.
Skillings guarding Caleb Love. Skillings about 6'8".
Townsend, last year's Horizon League Player of the Year, off the mark again.
Bearcats make it very difficult for you to score inside because of their length.
Jizzle James for 3, off the mark. Not his specialty, but his numbers in that department and all departments have improved. When we come back, it's not quite Phi Slamma Jamma in the Queen City, but it's pretty darn close. Fran Fraschilla, a couple of Bearcats have turned the Queen City into Dunk City.
Yes, they have, Rich. Dylan Mitchell, the transfer from Texas, we talked about already. Off to a great start. Aziz Bandego, the transfer from Utah Valley, who played for the Bearcats last year. These two guys not only are really athletic in transition, catch those lobs in the half court, but excellent rim protectors. And what a great addition Dylan Mitchell has been for this team, Rich. He's averaging about 12 and 8, and he's not a guy you run plays for. Great defender and a high-energy guy.
And earlier today, the first 2 buckets of the game, what would you expect but a dunk?
No question, something that Arizona has to be concerned about. You see right here the little dump off by Skillings. I think Dylan Mitchell right now will be one of the top 5 candidates for Naismith Defensive Player of the Year in the country.
Arizona tries a lob of their own. Carter Bryant couldn't handle it, got it back, and they punch it in.
Excellent hustle by the freshman from California with a lot of potential.
The 30th McDonald's All-American to come to Tucson.
Coming off the bench, remember they are without Mo Krivas, the 7-footer, was out for the year, and so the roles are starting to be more defined on this Wildcat team.
Here's a catch and shoot from Lukosius. He's been really struggling his last 4 games. KJ Lewis lost the handle, out of bounds, and it's going to be Cincinnati basketball.
Good job by Day Thomas right there, staying out of the way. That's like dodgeball.
Now number 14, the freshman Tyler Betsy, 2-time Gatorade Connecticut State Player of the Year, checks in for Wes Miller as Lukosius takes a seat on the bench.
Tyler is an outstanding outside shooter, top 50 players in the country a year ago. Just getting his feet wet, but an offensive weapon without a doubt.
Number 1, Day Thomas on the floor. They like to run 2 point guards out there with James and Thomas. With 8 on the shot clock, here's James for 3. Off the mark, offensive rebound, Skillings. And that ball comes right to Fran Fraschilla.
I got you, Rich.
Good hands, partner.
I saw it coming.
Even Kip Kissinger liked it.
You're too pretty looking to get a broken nose right there, my friend. I had you.
The check's in the mail, I think.
I was open, but I don't have that kind of range.
Oh, cat-like reflexes as well.
Shooter, he'll shoot that.
Del Orso being aggressive in the early going. An offensive rebound by Bryant. That is one thing this Arizona club does as well as anybody in the country, rebound the basketball. Backdoor cut. That's another thing you'll see a lot from this Arizona offense, but KJ Lewis comes up short. Here's Thomas coming off the bench, and he is instant offense.
Oh, and he started a year ago. He was hurt early, but 2 years at junior college, and last year he was outstanding as a junior. You mentioned Jizzle James and Thomas. That's a good 1-2 punch.
Bryant with the quick release for 3.
And when you look at this young man, Rich, you see greatness down the road, not right now, as he's learning the college game, but already in a couple minutes you can see the kind of talent he has.
First 3 of the game for the Wildcats. They average under 7 threes a game. It is not their strength. Skillings off his foot, and that's turnover number 4 for the Bearcats. When we talked to Wes Miller yesterday, Fran, he said that the turnovers in that K-State game really cost them that game.
There's no question about it. First 5 minutes of each half, they were very sloppy and uncharacteristically, and it really bit them in that loss in Manhattan.
Wes was quoted after the game as saying he was so angry he couldn't see straight. Here's Henry Vasar, 13 in blue.
Good job by the Bearcats fighting over those handoffs.
Making everything difficult for this Arizona offense. Bradley off balance, no. Mitchell back on the floor, snares the rebound. Betsy lost the handle. Good defense by the big man, Vasar.
See how fast the Wildcats get up and down the court.
Bradley pushes, but comes up empty. Another rebound for Mitchell. Ten on the timer. Connor Hickman off the back iron. Here comes KJ Lewis, the sophomore. And we're going the other way. Timeout on the floor, 11:54 to go. The first road game as a Big 12 partner for the Arizona Wildcats. They're up 1 in enemy territory.
I had him as 5th most.
Alongside Fran Fraschilla, I'm Rich Hollenberg in Cincinnati. Caleb Love is what they define as wired to score.
Yeah, and Tommy Lloyd calls him their lightning rod. Why? Look at the numbers. When he's on, he is like lightning, provides a lot of energy. And when he's not on, obviously Wildcats struggle, in part because he is such a prolific scorer. Last year's Pac-12 Player of the Year. And who knows, Rich? Could be in the running for Big 12 Player of the Year if he continues the way he's played the last 4 games.
Yeah, off to a great start with that 33-point effort in their opening win against TCU in Tucson, playing in his 149th career game. He's the 4th active scoring leader in all of college basketball.
And don't forget, 33, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. No turnovers. Yeah.
Right.
Probably one of the great performances in NCAA history. Now, I call this, Rich, a desperation game. You say, wait a minute, it's January 4th. First of all, in order to be good in this league, you have to win on the road. Only one team last year, Houston, had a winning record on the road. And if you're a home team, especially coming off a loss, you've got to protect home court. So it's a really, really important game for both teams.
Day-Day Thomas, his first bucket after the timeout. He's got 4. Instant offense off the bench, came in 8 for 17 in his last 2 from the field.
And with the new JUCO rule, he's got a chance to come back next year as a 5th-year player.
Bradley, tough 2 for Jaden Bradley.
Tough is in his DNA. That's a great description right there.
He's had his best games as a Wildcat against the best competition this season. Here's Mitchell in the dribble handoff, looking for his own. Left hand, got fouled, and will go to the line.
Now that's a good news, bad news, because for all the things Dylan Mitchell does so well for this team, free throw shooting, not one of them. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride for the junior from Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, just 9 for 29 on the season. And he back rims that one. Tomorrow, following our top 20 women's doubleheader on ESPN, we'll have an American Conference matchup between the top teams in the conference. PJ Haggerty and number 21 Memphis hosting 10-3 North Texas. Coverage tips at 5 Eastern. Of course, there are Big 12 ties in that game. PJ Haggerty started his college career at TCU.
And what about Tyrese Hunter?
Yeah.
Who played both at Iowa State and Texas. That is one of the best backcourts in the country. And Penny Hardaway has a team that is absolutely headed to the NCAA tournament. They have the most quad 1 wins in the country right now.
Townsend had his shot bothered. Vesar cleans it up.
Yeah, there's no reason for Bandego to come over and help Mitchell on that. When he tried to block it, it left Vesar wide open on the backside.
Thomas met by that Wildcats defense.
I didn't like that shot.
Here's Bradley.
Nice.
In attack mode. And a timeout called immediately by Wes Miller. Defensive breakdowns by the Bearcats. And the Wildcats are up 5 on the road with 10:02 to go.
I want you to watch this, Rich. This is called a Gortat screen. Watch, I think it's Vasar here. Watch how he seals his man, Bandego, and allows the guard to go right to the hole, Bradley. Marcin Gortat, who played in the NBA for a long time, he would do that accidentally early in his career, and it turned into something they worked on. By the way, on that Wildcat bench, there's another Polish rifle by the name of Przemek Karnowski. The 7'2" monster who played at Gonzaga is now on the staff. So Polish basketball gets mentioned a couple times today.
In his third year as a GA under Tommy Lloyd. The Gonzaga connection on the Wildcats bench. That foul is going to be on Toby Awaka, his first. Obviously, Gonzaga always has international ties. So too do the Wildcats.
Well, the Gonzaga ties started because Tommy Lloyd, Mark Few told him as a young coach, you need a recruiting niche. And Tommy Lloyd decided to become probably the most well-known assistant coach in NCAA, recruiting Europe. And obviously the proof's in the pudding when you look at the great international players who played at Gonzaga and now are coming to Arizona.
Jizzle James off to a slow start offensively, 0 for the field so far.
Nice pass.
Nice look inside. Lewis can't finish, but a foul is called.
That's beautiful, Rich. That's called a burn cut. When you drive baseline, that weak side wing, take a look right now. When you go behind the net like Gretzky, you see that cut from the slot out there on the wing. We call that a burn cut or a 45-degree cut, and it's almost an automatic now.
Here comes KJ Lewis. He's made his last 14 free throws. And there is a broadcaster jinx, if you believe in that.
Well, let's watch this, Rich, from the high angle. See the drive around the basket, and there's that cut from the wing. Because you're either going to stand out there and pick your nose if you're not a shooter, or cut hard to the hole behind the defense. And really good job right there by the Wildcats.
KJ Lewis, the sophomore out of Duncanville in Texas, makes 1 out of 2. He had 8 points and 8 assists in their win against TCU last week.
And more importantly, he gave up his starting spot because he felt he could bring more energy to this Wildcat team off the bench, and he has.
Starters on the floor for Wes Miller. His team down 6 with 9 minutes to go in the first half. James hunting his own shot.
And that's what Mitchell does. And that's not a good shot by James.
Again, James, and this time it's good.
That's a good shot by James. On balance, good separation. And Dylan Mitchell kept that ball alive. Remember, you're going to love this kid if you're a Bearcat fan. He's going to become one of your favorites.
Jizzle James now 1 for 5 from the field. Good look again. This time it's Lewis to Awaka. Awaka with the offensive rebound, but comes up empty.
Tobe is a below-the-rim post and has trouble with length. Good example right there.
Still no scoring from 41 in White, but he takes care of that with a floater. Lewis double teamed in the post, 8 on the shot clock for the Cats. Bradley with 4 on the timer, no good. Mitchell clears, and a chance for Cincinnati to tie or take the lead.
Yeah, excellent defensive possession for 30 seconds, forced a tough shot. Mitchell with another rebound.
And that one's good. Cincinnati climbs back on top with that 3 from Skillings.
7-0 run based on the defense.
Nice left hand by the big man, Awaka.
That time he used his quickness to get by Bandego. Bandego needs a blow. But a good drive by Tobe, the Tennessee transfer. Watch Lukosius here.
Skilling spins. Good defense by Del Orso. And we have a timeout on the floor.
Well, we talked about that defense, Rich, and in this building, defense leads to offense. Take a look, Jizzle James, pull-up jumper, sophomore, Lukosius, who's been precocious through the years here in Cincinnati, getting it done. And how about Skillings in the corner? Remember we said balanced scoring, giving it to Wes Miller right now.
Welcome back. We've got a great women's basketball doubleheader lined up for you tomorrow on ESPN. At 1 Eastern, Hannah Hidalgo and number 3 Notre Dame take on 17th ranked North Carolina. Then at 3, number 15 Tennessee hosting number 9 Oklahoma.
Listen, Juju Watkins, outstanding, no question. Hannah Hidalgo, if you haven't seen her, Rich, she is magical. The young lady from Jersey, look at the numbers. I got to tell you, you throw in Olivia Miles, the junior, and the Jersey girls are absolutely getting it done. Notre Dame averaging 89 points a game, shooting 43% from 3. I watched some tape of Hannah last night, and I came away impressed with Olivia Miles, who is really her setup lady, averaging 7 assists a game, and that is a great backcourt.
Here's Hickman. He tried to get in the dunk party, but got blocked by the rim. Nearly 14 minutes gone by. We've already had 7 lead changes in this Big 12 heavyweight fight. Skilling's the steal. And he lost the handle, but there's a dunk by Betsy.
And the freshman getting some good minutes. Great hustle by Skillings. And when you look out at this Bearcat team right now, you can see they go 9 deep.
Here's Love.
Oh,
he's been
time.
quiet, but not for long.
Great screen and transition on the baseline. And Caleb Love can make those kind of tough shots.
Spent the whole summer in Tucson after withdrawing from the NBA draft. And that hard work has paid off in the early part of this season.
Well, I would describe him as mercurial. He can be great. Sometimes he can get you in trouble, but he's certainly got a lot of talent.
Good hands there. Skillings got fouled.
This is a hard shot, Rich. Coming off on the baseline. He's got to get behind the Burrow ball before he catches it. Good contest by Betsy and a tough shot. Again, because you score 2,300 points, you have to, by definition, be a tough shot maker.
And threes are not his specialty. That's his 31st on the season, but he's only shooting 31% from beyond the arc.
He's basically been a career 31% three-point shooter.
There's a miss from the free throw line for Skillings. Well, you talk about one of the great scorers in college basketball over the last 4 or 5 years. Caleb Love is right near or at the top of that list in 2022, 2023, and certainly last year as well.
That's an invisible turnover right there when you miss those 2 free throws. You mentioned the Achilles heel for this Bearcat team.
And they play so many close games. They played 12 Big 12 games that they've lost, and 9 of them have been decided by 5 points or fewer.
Wes Miller's not going to be happy with that breakdown right there. Watch the penetration by Jaden Bradley. Young man from Rochester, New York. He started his career at Alabama. Second year in Tucson. And I think the idea of bringing Lewis off the bench gave some breathing room to Bradley and Love. And so now Lewis, when he does come in, Rich, he's kind of that 6th man, Vinnie Johnson microwave type, and he's also a great defender.
A game high 7 for Jaden Bradley, and it's a 5-point Arizona lead. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the first half. Wildcats looking for their first ever Big 12 road win. Day looking for a seam, instead kicks it out. Betsy too strong.
Not a bad look by the freshman. That's his game.
Lewis kept the pivot foot, even though the crowd wanted a trap.
Wildcats are getting downhill too easily. Look at that.
Love. No foul called, and it'll be Cincinnati basketball.
Well, I thought Caleb threw his body into the defender, and Brett Smith was not going to bite. But if you're Wes Miller right now, you're concerned about giving up too much paint off the dribble. Wildcats have taken advantage of that.
Wes Miller's team comes in 9th in the nation in scoring defense, 13th in the nation in field goal defense. They've held the high-scoring Wildcats offense to just 24, but they're down 5. Seven on the timer. Lukosius, step back, 3. And the struggle continues for Seamus Lukosius.
Oh, and that part of it is excellent defense by the Wildcats today. Watch this.
Face-off! Wow!
This young man has taken advantage of the injury to Mo Krivas. He's from Estonia up in the Baltics and has a chance to really establish himself as a good player. Take a look right here. Yeah, they're bearing down in Cincinnati. Big man, 7-footer to the rim. What rim protection?
His best game as a Wildcat last time out with 15 points. He's off to a great start today.
He sure is, Rich. He's averaging about 10 and 6 in his last 4. And the 7-footer is a third-year sophomore. You see the size on that team. Of course, Mo Krivas, who many thought could possibly be an NBA draft pick this year. Not me, but some did. He's out for the season. He'll have foot surgery this week. Only a sophomore. He'll get that year back. In the meantime, Toby Owaka and Krivas are going to have to hold the fort down, and Krivas continues to improve. And he could shoot it from outside, Rich.
Arizona with a long-standing tradition of talented big men. And certainly Krivas will be part of that when he gets healthy, but he's missed the last 5 games, and he will not play this season, but he retained that medical red shirt.
You know who would have loved Faisar? The great Bill Long.
Yeah. Skilled passer, facilitator.
Yeah.
Faisar still on the floor. A 5-point Arizona lead.
Bradley has done a really good job of getting downhill and breaking down that defense.
Here's Bryant. Sweet J from Carter Bryant. His second 3 of the game.
Yep, we are starting to see a coming out party. Tommy Lloyd told us the injury to Krivas has put Carter Bryant at the 4 spot. Look at this.
Stolen away by Love. And no surprise, he takes it himself, and he draws the foul.
Rich, this is not addition by subtraction when you lose a guy like Krivas. But what has happened is the rotation for Arizona has solidified because there's fewer answers. And what does that mean? That simply means that Bryant's getting more minutes, and certainly Faisar is.
Love cans the first of 2. Averaging just a tick under 27 a game in his last 3. He's got 4 points already, and now 5. And the Arizona lead is now double digits for the first time this afternoon. Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Got to give the Wildcats a lot of credit. Their defense has been outstanding. They have forced a lot of tough shots in this first 17 minutes. That's another one.
Another miss by Jizzle James, and it's cleared by Faisar. Love goes right at the defense, but comes up empty. Here's Skillings for 3 in the corner. They needed that.
They sure did. And a great look-ahead pass by Lukosius.
2 triples for Dan Skillings. He leads the Bearcats with 8. Vesar faces up Bandego. Left hand, no good. Gets his own miss and is blocked. And it'll be Arizona basketball.
Tell you what, Tommy Lloyd's got to be pleased with Henry Vesar. He's a long drink of water, but he's playing with a lot of aggressiveness.
Love left alone, and you cannot do that.
That is a great look by Vesar. He felt a little bit of pressure from the perimeter. And Caleb Love quietly starting to heat up.
Fran, how about this Wildcats shooting from beyond the arc? They are 4 for 6 from three-point range. That's a revelation.
Watch how easy this one is. That's too much help by Skillings. Why is that too much help? Vesar is not going to score over Bandego. So it's in and out quick, but you don't leave a dangerous player like Caleb Love and leave him open like that. Just not a good decision by Skillings.
Precocious has made all 3 of his free throws. He has 5. It's a 9-point Arizona lead.
Rich, I saw Arizona and Phoenix against UCLA after Krivas was hurt, and they continue to improve.
And again, aggressive lead to the hole. We've seen it all afternoon.
Yeah,
for the
no
Wildcats.
question. Now, I thought that time Bradley sold the contact, but it doesn't diminish why Cincinnati's had trouble today, and that is they cannot keep the ball out of the paint off the dribble.
Arizona, number 0, Jaden Bradley, 2.
So Jaden Bradley already with 7 steps to the line, looking to add to the Wildcats lead. This is a Wildcats team that started the season ranked number 10 in the country, but they lost 4 of 5 games, including a couple in the Bahamas, and everybody was jumping off the bandwagon. Now for the first time, they come into Cincinnati winners of 3 straight.
Yeah, they're not the team they were a year ago, Rich. When you lose Ballo, when you lose Pele Larson and Keishard Johnson, by the way, both with the Miami Heat now, those 2 guys are in the NBA. They're hard to replace, but you could see progress being made by Tommy's team.
Under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Here's Lukosius.
He's babying that shot. That's a foul.
Can't get the touch off the glass, and we're going the other way.
Yep. Dylan Mitchell reached in the cookie jar, but Kip Kitchener called that second foul. It's a good call, but didn't like the shot there by Lukosius. Right now, Cincinnati, to me, Rich, offensively is pressing. And I thought they pressed at Kansas State.
The freshman Tyler Betsy checks back in for Wes Miller's club. And Henry Vesar steps to the line for the first time this afternoon. And he makes the first. Vesar was 12 for his last 16 from the field in his last 3 games coming in. He now has 5 points today, 2 for 3 shooting, and 1 for 1 from the stripe.
I'll tell you, just watching them in Phoenix in December, watching Vesar now, they are a different team and a better team because of the confidence level of the big youngster from Tallinn, Estonia. He's up there in the Baltic region with Lithuania and Latvia.
And Dede Thomas called for the traveling violation by Tony Padilla. Well, turnovers biting Wes Miller's Bearcats again, like they did in their loss in Manhattan. That's now 7 Bearcats turnovers in the first half.
Whoop, he dragged it. Yep.
And Bradley knew it.
Yep. He's been so good at getting into the paint. He wasn't able to pump the brakes. Good chance to go 2 for 1 here. If you want to get 2 possessions, you got to get a shot up by about 40, 41.
Thomas, no. Got it back. Here's Betsy for three.
Yep. Good shot.
And it's cleared by Vasar.
Now, that'll be a 2-for-1. They should get Cincinnati the possession back. You know what I would do right here if I were Arizona? I would shoot this ball before 24 and send everybody to the glass. You know why? Because the other team's not going to run out.
And we get a wedgie instead.
Yep.
That'll be Cincinnati basketball. Shot clock is off. 28.5 to go. Now Townsend on for Bryant for Tommy Lloyd's club.
Trey Townsend, a young man from Oakland, who played in that epic NCAA game that knocked off Kentucky, Calipari's last game as a Wildcat. Horizon League Player of the Year and a good piece, and that's my example. He's not Keyshawn Johnson, but no one is, because Keyshawn's in the NBA now. Trey's just trying to find himself as a good Wildcat.
Usually, 15 to go.
Yes, usually high pick and roll here.
And they're going 4 flat. Now they go horns. Blocked by Vasar, and shot out of a cannon is Caleb Love, but he got dunked on by the rim. And it looks like they might have a foul called, and Wes Miller looks like he's about to have a breakdown.
Now, I'll tell you, what I loved about this play is as soon as Caleb Love got the possession of the ball, he looked at the far shot clock, and he knew he could get to the rim in 3 dribbles. Good, smart play. They're going to review it because here's the rule, Rich. If the foul takes place after triple zeros, it is not a foul. If it takes place before, they're going to look, they're going to call the foul, but then they're going to figure out how much time on the clock. It was just a great heads-up play by Caleb Love to look up at the clock. It's clearly a foul. Tony Padilla's right on it, and now it's a matter of putting that time back on the clock.
And you have to wonder, under normal circumstances, maybe Caleb Love just finger rolls that in, but he knew he was running out of time.
He had to get to the rim as fast as possible, and to his credit, he got there in time. Now, Arizona has had a few halves like this year, but on the road, in this environment, I think it's the best half of basketball they've played all season, considering the competition.
This Wildcats team is first in the Big 12 in fast break points. They average 15.5 a game. These would be 2 huge fast break points for them coming from the free throw line. Caleb Love, a 90% free throw shooter. And he misses the first.
If you're Arizona right here, do not climb. It's Vasar, the only one on the line. Do not move, Vasar. Do not commit a foul here.
And Love goes 1 for 2 to give him 9 points in the first half.
Got a UB Brown home run play here, but it's really difficult with .6 to be able to catch and shoot this.
Number 10 in white, Josh Reed, going to play the quarterback.
And Vasar on the ball.
He goes the full length. It's picked off by Townsend. And Will
5 games ago and said, Coach, I think I might be better off the bench. It gives me a chance to be the leading scorer in that second unit, and it's worked to a charm, especially today.
Townsend scoreless in the first half. Shot fake, he's got his first 2 of the game.
That's an aggressive move by Trey. He took his body and went right through Mitchell.
All of a sudden, things have gone silent inside one of the loudest arenas in the nation.
Well, I think that was the best first half Arizona's played all year.
Skillings short on the 3, tracked down by Caleb Love. Tied for game high honors with 9. Now Townsend. 10 on the shot clock. got a man down. That's Bandego with the deck.
All right, they're going to look at this because of the contact. Brett Smith wants to take a look and see if there was anything that might rise to the level of a flagrant foul right here. It was off the ball. I didn't see it. But Tony Padilla and Kip Kissinger will go take a look at this at the monitor now.
Cincinnati trainer Bob Mancini out to look at the Cincinnati big man.
Watch inside. No.
Looks like he caught a random elbow.
It looked random to me, Rich. Now, it was above the shoulders. Officials don't like that. It did look random. There was contact, certainly.
Inadvertent, but Bandego slow to get up.
It's certainly, take a look now at the bottom of the lane. Boy, I tell you, it didn't look like he did it on purpose. It's certainly not going to rise to the level of a flagrant 2.
It is good to see 55 in white, Aziz Bandego walking off under his own power. He'll go to the bench.
Because of the severity of the contact, it doesn't, like I said, it didn't rise to the level of extreme, but it could be adjudicated as excessive, which would be flagrant 1. Certainly, it didn't look like Owaka did it on purpose, and you can tell that the officials are not sure because Kip Kissinger's going to walk away. Bert Smith's going to come in and now look at it with Tony Padilla.
Yeah, get a third set of eyes on.
Yeah, 6 eyes. When I was coaching, I didn't think 6 eyes was enough. Okay, but since I've gone over to this side, I'm not sure if they made a call. Did they call a foul to begin with?
Play has stopped, just 54 seconds into this second half. Arizona with their largest lead of the afternoon after Trey Townsend opened the second half with a bucket, but here's why the play has stopped.
Yeah.
Tobey Owaka, an inadvertent elbow caught Aziz Bandego in the side of the head.
Now, inadvertent doesn't necessarily mean it's not excessive, so that's what they're talking over right now. The hard part with big guys, the size of Bandego and Owaka, is sometimes they get their elbow into somebody's face, and it's an accident, but it's not necessarily not a foul.
My question at this point, Fran, with as long as this is taking, what are the officials talking about right now?
They got to be discussing whether it's a flagrant 1. There's no way in the world it's going to be a flagrant 2.
Okay, there was no official call on the floor. The contact by the Arizona play has been deemed flagrant, so Cincinnati will shoot 2 free throws and get the ball on the baseline.
All right, well, it is a flagrant 1. And again, if you're a Cincinnati fan, you're saying, well, we know he didn't do it on purpose, but the point of the rule is, was it excessive contact? And the officials deemed that it was, and so it'll be 2 free throws for Arizona.
For Cincinnati.
For Cincinnati, I'm sorry.
And it's good to see that Aziz Bandego is going to be able to shoot those free throws.
And because it's a flagrant foul, and it's Bandego's got to shoot the free throws here.
And then it will be Cincinnati basketball. So although you feel bad for Aziz taking that shot to the head with an elbow, this could be a tide turner for Cincinnati.
But not the way they're shooting free throws.
Bandego's been better as of late.
Yes.
14 of his last 18 coming in, but he misses the first there. See.
That's tough, man. Those are, I said it earlier, those are invisible turnovers. And my rule, Rich, just to explain this, if it was a technical foul, dead ball technical, anybody could shoot it. It's a flagrant personal, so Bandego has to shoot the free throw.
And it will be Cincinnati basketball, and Jizzle James, number 2 in white, brings it up. He's guarded by Bradley. It's been a slow game so far for Jizzle James, and he threw that one away.
Yeah, this is not the Cincinnati team that won the Ohio championship in December, knocking off, of course, Ohio State early in November, and then Cincinnati and, Xavier and Dayton. they look out of sorts the last 60 minutes.
Odd considering Wes Miller went out of his way to say they had the best practices of the season leading up to this game. Townsend.
Tough shot.
He's 2 for 2 in the second half.
Yep. Very tough shot. And give Arizona credit. This is an improving team from the team that we watched in the battle for Atlantis.
Of note, last year, Cincinnati had 5 wins when they trailed by 10 or more. And that's one way of them getting back into it.
Exactly. When you curl that screen, and Mitchell's man helps even a little. Mitchell's so athletic, he can get that ball that's thrown up at the square.
They had a couple of those to start this game, but that's the first dunk we've seen since.
They're going to need stops.
Townsend feeling it. And he draws the foul on Mitchell. And that's number 3 on the big man.
What I like about that is Tommy Lloyd early in the second half said, he probably even told Trey, we're going to go into you and you got to play big boy basketball. And he's certainly done that. We mentioned last year's Horizon League tournament MVP and the player of the year in that league. Of course, Greg Campy, the incredible, irrepressible coach who's been here over 40 years, took that team to the NCAA tournament. Ironically, mom and dad played at Oakland, and dad played for Greg Campy also.
Townsend had 17 and 12 in their win in the NCAAs against Kentucky. Followed that up with 30 and 13 boards in the loss to NC State.
Boy, this place is like a library.
Here's Skillings from the wing. In and out. And it's one and done for the Bearcats. But it's picked off by Bandego with those long arms, and he stepped on the baseline.
Well, these are great shots Cincinnati's getting. That time Skillings had that ball go in and out. Watch Bandego right here. Watch the foot come down. And an easy call right there. Kip Kissinger on the baseline.
That's when you wish you didn't have size 17 shoes.
Well, you know, I'm telling you, that ball should have gone in, and it's one of those days, man. If you've coached or played, you understand. It's a foul.
Bradley with a tough 2 again.
Jaden, he has set the tone with his aggressive play getting into the paint.
And Jaden Bradley, the first player on the floor to double digits. Skillings will try again from 3 and miss. And Bandego goes back down, and the foul's going to be called.
Rich, these are good shots, and they have to keep taking them.
That's the 3rd on Tobe Awaka. So Awaka out, Vesar in. No drop off there for Tommy Lloyd.
No.
Vesar's been excellent.
Watch this, Rich. They're one of the teams in the country that puts the 7-footer on the inbounder, and they make it difficult to throw it in.
Get it into Bandego. James, baseline, stops, got fouled.
Let me tell you why that happened. Vesar was never able to cross-match back to a big. And that's one of the problems when you put the 7-footer on the inbounder, the guard, is when that ball came back out, he was not able to get back to a big guy. And there's no way he can keep Jizzle James from getting to the basket.
Well, Cincinnati's going to have to hit their free throws if they want to come back in this game. The best way to do it is at the free throw line with no time coming off the clock. Oh, we've talked about Jizzle James. His star is rising in Cincinnati. Played a lot his freshman year, but now in a starting role, playing about 27 minutes a game, and all of his numbers across the board are up. Betsy blocked by Caleb Love. Now 7 on the shot clock. Lukosius way off the mark from 3. And a heads-up play by the freshman. Thrown it off Vesar out of bounds. It'll stay Cincinnati basketball.
Well, Aziz Bandego has been really active today on the offensive glass. Watch Vesar now. He's going to be guarding Lukosius with 3 on the shot clock.
The lob inside, thrown to the wrong team. That's another Cincinnati turnover. And it'll stay Arizona basketball. What needs to change for the Bearcats?
They got to get stops. That's the key, Rich. And they got to keep shooting the open shots. They'll start to fall. But if they're going to get back in this game, they've got to limit the amount of baskets like that right there.
Here come the Bearcats playing 5-on-4 for the moment. Betsy. They seem to be settling for the 3-ball.
Well, they're open. Betsy's got to shoot that.
Nice spin move by Skillings down low.
Give him credit, Rich. They're staying alive, keeping balls alive on the offensive glass.
Dan Skillings, the first Bearcat to double digits with 10. And now the crowd's starting to get back in it. Townsend. James rolls off. Bandego can't clean it up. Now Caleb Love. And they're going to count it. It's a 47-31 Wildcat lead. Bear down in the Queen City. Monday night, don't miss the 47th annual FCS championship game. A #2 seed in North Dakota State squaring off against the top seed, Montana State. Chalk in the FCS, the opposite of what we've seen in the BCS. It's the Bison and the Bobcats. Monday night at 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Bobcats 15-0, trying to win their first title in 40 years. Rich, who's the greatest NFL player to ever come out of Montana State?
You tell me, franchise.
Great Jan Stenerud.
How about that?
Pro Football Hall of Fame, kicker for the Chiefs, a couple other teams. Great skier too, by the way. He's from Norway.
With 5 on the shot clock. Love out of the timeout, no good. Kept alive by Vasar with the jam.
This is a transformation, folks. Wildcat fans know exactly what I'm talking about.
The lead is ballooned to 18, and the hustle play by KJ Lewis.
Tommy Lloyd is looking at Tony Petilla. He had as good a view as Tony did, and he's adamant. Let's watch face-off first. A young man from Estonia who is quickly becoming a very key factor for this Wildcat team right here, the sophomore. And a great effort. We praised Bandego today because he's done a good job on the glass. But the 7-footer who missed last season with an injury and redshirted, what an opportunity he's getting with Krivas out for the year.
8 points, 8 rebounds for 13 in blue. Day Thomas, again, a 3-ball, again off the mark for Cincinnati.
Bearcats are ice cold.
2 for 16 from beyond the arc are the Bearcats. Now they have a chance to run. Here's the freshman Betsy. Betsy for 3. Again, it rolls off, but an offensive rebound by Bandego and a foul.
Yeah, and Tyler Betsy's got to keep shooting those, Rich. If he's not shooting threes, you might as well not have him out there.
Now Dan Skillings checks in for Wes Miller, and Trey Townsend on the floor for Tommy Lloyd. Little bit of foul trouble for the Wildcats. Carter Bryant and Toby Awaka both with 3.
Once again, they put Vasar on the inbounder. And that takes up a lot of practice time when you're getting ready for Arizona.
Here's Day. Skillings the offensive board. The putback by Page, and he's fouled for his efforts.
Page, a sophomore, transfer from USC. He's an Atlanta kid who Cincinnati recruited very heavily out of high school. Was able to get him on the rebound.
first. Cincinnati, no field goals in their last 6 and only 1 in their last 12 field goal attempts. 2 free throws for the big man Page.
First time we've seen a little bit of pressure today from Cincinnati. Every now and then they'll run and jump with a second defender. Here he comes.
Skillings. Now Love goes right at Page and gets the bump and the bucket.
Great ball movement right there. Once you get it out of that trap and that ball gets swung, it's a long closeout to try to stay in front of Caleb Love, and that's not going to be easy. Wes Miller gambled right there with a little bit of that Dean Smith, Roy Williams inspired what we call run and jump trap. But once the ball gets out of there, you're basically playing 3-on-4 defensively, and Caleb Love made him pay.
The top scorer on this Wildcats team, averaging a touch under 17 a game. He now has 12 to lead all scorers.
You know what, Rich? They haven't needed his scoring today.
Speaking of needing scoring, the Bearcats need it in the worst way. They've missed their last 10 three-point attempts. They're 2 for 19 overall. Wes Miller left to ponder.
Yeah, I did not see this coming.
Skilling strong to the hole.
We thought we'd have a street fight today. And if we have, Wildcats are landing some blows.
KJ Lewis, no. And a walk-up and a scramble for the ball. And it's going to stay Arizona basketball. Arizona showing a ton of toughness on the road.
Yep, I totally agree. See, that ball looked like it went off the white jersey out of bounds. There are about 12,000 people in here that disagree with that call, even though Kip Kissinger was 5 feet away.
So Bradley triggers the inbounds. No good. And the big man Page on the leak out. Gets another dunk for the Bearcats.
Two stops, 2 scores the Bearcats need, and the roof will come off. But can the Wildcats keep their composure? Watch out!
Picked off by Mitchell. And he has takeoff. Tommy Lloyd immediately calls timeout. Back-to-back breakaway dunks for the Bearcats, and they're trying to claw their way back in it.
The jumpers have not been falling, so Bearcats trying to get it done on the defensive end. Hello! The Bearcats need something to ignite them, and maybe it's the steal by Dylan Mitchell. And he's done that a lot this season. And take a look, one of the best athletes in the country, a super glue guy, great defender, and on a day, Rich, where the Bearcats cannot hit the broadside of the barn, as we say in Ohio, maybe that defense can be something that gets them going.
36% this season coming in, but today just 2 for 19 and 0 for 9 in the second half.
2 stops, 2 scores, and as I said, this place will really, really come alive. Poise is the word now for Arizona State. Nice
Here's
play right
face-off.
there. Yeah.
Oh, and no whistle called as the dunk went in and out. Now Day Thomas goes right to the rim, and no whistle there. This veteran officiating crew's letting them play.
Well, on this end right here, I thought Day tried to initiate the contact. On the other end, it certainly did look like Besar got fouled. Let's take a look. Watch Besar now. You know, I don't think that's a foul.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a foul.
Now Dan Skilling's at the line. Cans the free throw. He leads all scorers with a baker's dozen.
I told you, Rich, during the break, if it gets under 10, this place is going to start to rock.
If he makes this, we are one away from that mark. And we are. 14 for Skillings. It's now a 52-41 Arizona lead. Full court pressure by the Bearcats.
Now remember, they like the trap here.
Bradley had it tipped away. KJ Lewis retains possession. Lewis takes it himself. And we've got a stoppage in play, and Tommy Lloyd is all the way on the court yelling at Kip Kissinger. We'll take a timeout as well. Come on back 30 seconds from now. We got ourselves a ball game.
There's a timeout on the floor.
Yeah.
Is that a full timeout?
Yeah.
The college football playoff semifinals begin Thursday and continue Friday.
So the semifinals are set, French Priscilla, and we don't even have to wait till Saturday. They start on Thursday, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas.
Well, you and I got to know Steve Sarkisian down on the 40 acres, and what a great guy, and boy, what an addition. Can you imagine the SEC without Texas this year?
Oh.
They won one Big 12 title in the last 14 seasons, and they have had a remarkable run in their first year in the SEC.
The Ohio State redemption tour.
Hey, Urban Meyer said they were more athletic, Ohio State, than Georgia was. Think about that.
Here's Mitchell. Again, Cincinnati settling for threes and not cashing in. 0 for 10 this half.
Now you see the three guards out there. Nice.
The look inside. And Carter Bryant hangs, can't hit, but drew the foul.
Well, now that it's crunch time, now one thing Tommy Lloyd told KJ Lewis is, hey, you'll come off the bench as our sixth man, but you're going to be out there when the game counts. And with Love, Bradley, and Lewis right now, you've got the three Musketeers, and then the two young guys, Bryant and Besar, are getting better and better by the game.
Carter Bryant grew up an Arizona Wildcat fan. He said this is his fifth red-blue game, the scrimmage game that they play at the start of every season. He had been to 4 of them before as a youngster.
And as I recall, his dad played at Long Beach State for Wayne Morgan, who was a longtime Jim Boeheim assistant. But obviously, Arizona has always recruited Southern California well.
Bryant goes 1 for 2. He has 9.
Starting with guys like Steve Kerr back in that early Lute Olson era.
Yeah, you think back on the 30 or 29 previous McDonald's All-Americans. Sean Elliott, Mike Bibby, our colleague Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, great tradition there, just like Cincinnati with the great Oscar Robertson, Paul Hogue, Jack Twyman.
Here's Mitchell working on Besar. 10 on the shot clock. Jizzle's got it.
have to shoot this.
5 to shoot. Here comes Skillings with the right hand.
Again, the magic number is to get it under 10. Plenty of time left for Cincinnati.
Bearcats knocking on the door. Vesar working on Bandego. The crowd wanted to travel, didn't get it. Bryant cashes in and silences the crowd.
Great job by Vesar, Rich. I don't think he traveled, but I think that's at least a third assist today.
Still 10 minutes to go, but that almost felt like a dagger three for Arizona.
Yep. It almost looked like Mitchell got a piece of that shot.
Here's Mitchell on the other end. Left hand, got fouled, and he'll go to the line.
I want you to watch Vesar's footwork right here. If we can see it, it's already out. Mitchell with a good contest, and then Carter Bryant. You know, when I watched him early in the season, he looked like Bambi. You know, he looked like what do they call a baby deer? A foal?
Sure, let's go with that.
Let's go with that. But you could see the growth. I probably messed that up.
It's a fawn.
A fawn. Okay. I haven't watched Disney movies in a while, but that's who he reminds me of. He's getting his legs under him, and he's obviously got a lot of talent.
Now Bryant goes to the bench with 4 fouls, and Mitchell missed both badly.
That's not his strength.
James checking Bradley. Still plenty of time for the Bearcats to mount a comeback. Wildcats showing patience on the offensive end, and Day Thomas going to get whistled for his second foul.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They milked 25 seconds off that shot clock before the foul. And again, when you got those 3 guards out there, now they're gonna keep them out there.
So Vesar to the bench, Trey Townsend back on the floor. A small lineup for Tommy Lloyd. Here's Love, short, and it's cleared by Mitchell. Bandego, good catch by the big man.
Good find by Lukosius, and a good job of running the floor.
Picked off again by Mitchell.
He is, right now, one of the 3 or 4 best defensive players in the country. And partly because he can guard all 5.
And he's doing that right now, checking KJ Lewis. Switches on to Bradley, but it's Townsend with it in the block. Swatted away by Bandego.
Biggest possession of the game right here.
James. Mitchell. Yes! 10 on the shot clock for Arizona. Caleb Love. 1 and done. They've got Day Thomas at the other end. Thomas puts it in. A 9-0 Cincinnati run, and they are only down 7. The home court is alive and well.
Effort, running the floor, easy baskets, don't need threes when you get stops. And here he comes. He is electric. How about the kick out? His 4th 3 of the season, Dylan Mitchell.
here in Cincinnati. The Bearcats clawing back from a double-digit deficit. They trailed by as many as 19, and now they have cut that deficit to just 6. Michelle.
Well, they're shooting 11 of 20 from the foul line, 3 of 21 from 3. But we said it would have to start on the defensive end, and it has. And the key word again for Arizona is poise.
Vesar back on the floor. 7 minutes to go. Here come the Bearcats again. James creates space. Can't hit. And a big rebound by Townsend. Lewis turns the corner and gets 2.
Nice job, and what Trey Townsend did right there, he held his ground in the post so the help couldn't come over, and Lewis was able to get all the way to the basket unimpeded. Really good job right there of not creating an offensive foul.
Dribble handoff, Lukosius. Day-Day.
Oh boy.
Lukosius for 3. Yes!
Oh boy.
Good hands by Day-Day. Saved by Love. 5 on the shot clock. There was no one else who was shooting that ball other than Caleb Love, but he came up empty. Chance to make it a 1-possession ball game.
Bob.
Broken up by Vesar.
Yeah, Vesar smelled it out. He did a good job of faking at the ball and getting back and breaking up that lob.
And we enter crunch time inside Fifth Third Arena. 5 minutes to go. Here's number 5. What an up and under by KJ Lewis.
He stepped right by Bandego, who's really sucking wind right now, Rich. And I think Wes Miller is partly going to take that time out because he's got to get some fresh bodies.
We'll step aside for 30 seconds, but the Bearcats, once down 19, are now down just 7. Seamus Lukosius was 5 for 27 from 3 in his last 4 games, but this one was humongous.
Well, he hit 3 game winners last year in conference play. And then watch this step through right here by KJ Lewis. Up, under, by the shot blocker. Nicely done, under control. We talked about poise. Bandego out, Betsy in for his offense.
Wes Miller in his 4 years at Cincinnati has 8 wins when this Bearcats team was down by 10 or more. And now Dylan Mitchell has another 2.
Now that's a favorite set that I'm sure Tommy Lloyd was not happy about. Good execution inside. Good cut.
Backdoor cut. And the youngster, Carter Bryant, with 2.
Well, that's the problem with a freshman out there, Betsy, because there's a great back cut with lots of space for Vesar to find Bryant.
A new season high for the freshman Carter Bryant. He has 14.
Gotta shoot that.
James.
I thought he traveled. Tommy Lloyd thought he traveled, but he got away with sliding that foot.
Now Mitchell checking Lewis. He rises up, can't knock it down, one and done for the Cats.
Another good defensive play by Dylan Mitchell.
James. It's a one-possession ball game with 3 minutes to go. Bradley got fouled by Mitchell, and that's Dylan Mitchell's 4th foul of the game.
Hey, what a performance by the freshman. Take a look at Carter, back cut. Carter Bryant to the rim. And then Jizzle James, mid-range is the real estate for this young guy. Dylan Mitchell's the only real plus guy.
Yeah. Thank you, KC.
Yeah, our buddy Cam Carter, who played at
Kansas State.
K-State a couple of years ago.
That's right.
Now at LSU, started his career, I believe, at Mississippi State.
Well, the Cincinnati Bearcats trailed by as many as 19, but that lead is now just 3 points. Cincinnati has only played Arizona 4 times previous, and they have lost all 4 games. There's 2:48 to go. Jaden Bradley's at the line. He has 11 on the game.
Wow.
And he front ends that free throw.
That's a career 83% foul shooter right there. If you're Cincinnati, you got to make sure that you get body on body if there's a miss.
And he goes 0 for 2. Lukosius clears. And Cincinnati can tie it up with a 3.
Now that's a good foul. That's actually a good foul because, listen, let's face it, you're putting a guy on the line. We love his game, but we don't love his free throws. And Rich, during the season, there will be times in the second half of games with 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go where I believe some teams will foul Dylan Mitchell on purpose.
He's 0 for 4 today, came in just 9 for 29 at the free throw line.
So the odds are actually with him. Nope.
Off to the left.
That turned out to be a turnover for Cincinnati. I would consider fouling him again.
Here's Vesar looking for the back door. Instead, he hands it off, and it's almost picked off. And it's an over and back violation. Dylan Mitchell again blowing up the Arizona offense.
He gets it done in so many different ways. Now if you're Wes Miller, do you take Dylan out? Because Lukosius is coming back in. Let's see what they do. Yeah, so they're going to take him out because I believe Tommy Lloyd would actually foul him on purpose. And so they'll go offense, defense for Dylan Mitchell, but he's had a huge impact on this game, on the defensive end especially.
The last time this game was tied, it was 6-all.
Both teams in the bonus.
7 on the shot clock, coming up on 2 minutes left in regulation. Skillings, 3 to shoot. He does. A wild one. It goes out of bounds.
Now they can review this. Did it hit the rim? And who's it off?
Yeah, if it didn't touch the rim, it's a shot clock violation. But then you also have to factor in who touched it final.
That's right. Under 2 minutes, they can go to the monitor, and they probably will check. I thought it grazed the rim from, let's watch. It may have hit the backside of that flange,
and
Rich.
we're looking at the out-of-bounds call.
Well,
that looked to me like it was off Bandego. A lot of people watching right now are Cincinnati fans. They might have to wait a little while to get ready for their Bengals to play tonight. I hope you don't have a long car ride or a flight coming up.
Well, if it touches the rim, then let's see right here. I thought it hit the flange. Ooh. Tough to tell.
Yeah. It looked like the shot might have been altered.
And now, I have been told that that angle behind the backboard, officials know this, is not always the best angle because there's a little bit of, what do we call it, when it doesn't look like it's supposed to look.
Both calls were confirmed. It will be Cincinnati ball and the ball hit the rim. We're going to put 1:54 on the game clock.
All right, so they're going to add a second and give the ball to the Bearcats.
Yep. Optical illusion was the word I was looking for. But they have a lot of different angles, so they feel like they got it right. Plenty of time. You don't need a three. Both teams in the bonus. Jump ball will go to the Bearcats.
I'll tell you what, this Cincinnati team has been the Cardiac Cats. Last January alone in Big 12 play, they lost 5 games by 5 points or fewer, and 4 of those were against top 25 teams. They find themselves in crunch time again. And that foul is going to go on Caleb Love.
You know, and I'm honestly wondering whether they're fouling the big fellas on purpose. Now, as you mentioned, Bandego has improved, Rich, but coming into this season, he was 55%.
A career 59% free throw shooter. He missed his first 2 today, and now he's back at the line for the front end of a 1-and-1. Got it.
Well, I'll tell you, if they come back, it would be miraculous from the standpoint of shooting 4 for 22 from behind the arc, and obviously we chronicled how poorly they've shot their free throws as well. Nope.
1 for 2 for Bandego. It's a 2-point game. Arizona with the lead and the ball. 1:45 to go.
4 guards now. Del Orso back in.
Love, blocked by Skillings. And Caleb Love had something to say about it.
Well, I think he wanted a foul right here. Take a look. And there's a little body. The shot block was clean. Was there contact before? That's what he was arguing. But here's the key now. 4 guards for Arizona, so they're very mobile as far as getting to the basket.
Love wants it, takes it, can't hit it. Day-Day Thomas comes away with it.
Tommy Lloyd have any guts to foul Mitchell? Probably not.
Number 23 in white on the floor, and Wes Miller wants to talk it over. Well, make sure you stay tuned. More ESPN College Hoops on the way. Tomorrow, following our top 20 women's doubleheader on ESPN, we have an American Conference matchup between the top teams in that conference. PJ Haggerty and number 21 Memphis hosting 10-3 North Texas. Coverage tips at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Now, Mitchell out, Lukosius in. The offensive back and forth for Wes Miller here. Plenty of time. Don't need to shoot a desperation shot. It's your jump ball.
Both teams have one timeout remaining. Cincinnati in the bonus and with the possession arrow. The next Bearcats foul will send the Wildcats to the free throw line.
Rich, we were talking to Wes Miller about this yesterday. There's 5 games a season where nothing goes right and you can't make a shot. And one of the keys to your season is to win an ugly game like that. Cincinnati in a position to do that because they have not shot the ball well. Now remember, Lukosius loves this opportunity.
Skillings leads them with 16. 8 on the shot clock. Bearcats got to go. James kicks it out. Thomas in the corner. Offensive rebound, and we have a tie ball game. The effort is there, just like it always is for a Wes Miller coach club.
Now, we've used this word a lot in the second half, but this next 52 seconds for Arizona is all about poise.
The Wildcats have 14 top 25 wins in the Tommy Lloyd era. This would be among the biggest on the road, first Big 12 road game in program history. But now they find themselves tied after leading by as many as 19. .2 to go, and Tony Padilla and Kip Kissinger at the scorers table looking at that one.
Always interesting in both huddles because you have to coach both offense and defense at the same time. Whoever gets this ball in a tie game could possibly, let's watch right here now. Now, that angle from us, to me it looks like it's off white, but they're going to have a 10 times better view over there.
Remember, when the officials are at the scorers table, they're seeing more angles than we are on TV.
And by the way, Rich, just to reiterate what we said earlier, the backboard camera is not part of their review because it is an optical illusion. So that last play that we had a couple minutes ago, can't use that look. It's going to be blue ball.
4 starters and Day Thomas on the floor for Wes Miller.
For Arizona, 4 guards. And Basar, who's been very good, and he's very mobile and capable of shooting a 3. I doubt Arizona would go 2 for 1 here, but if you do go 2 for 1, you want to get it up at about 41 or 42. Very few teams in college basketball will play the 2 for 1 game in the second half of a tie-scored game like this.
And you have to keep an eye out for number 1 in blue, Caleb Love. Just 3 points in the second half for the top scorer from Arizona. Bradley, clear sailing for the layup.
Boy, that was too easy. Simple pick and roll, and nobody got to guard him. Timeout.
And that's the final timeout used by Wes Miller with 39 seconds to go.
So they'll platoon Lukosius for Mitchell. This is just way too easy. I mean, that's the Red Sea parting right there. That's just not a good possession defensively. That's one of those situations, Rich, with 4 guards, you want to switch everything out there.
That's 13 points for Bradley, 12 for Caleb Love, and 14 for Carter Bryant. Balanced scoring for these Wildcats trying to escape the Queen City with a victory. Arizona led for the overwhelming majority of this game. They led by as many as 19. Cincinnati didn't do themselves any favor all afternoon, jacking up 3s. They only made 4 of them this afternoon. And Caleb Love, as we said, a dozen points today, held under his season average by this vaunted Cincinnati defense. Take us inside these huddles, Frank.
Well, one thing you like about Cincinnati is they have multiple weapons. We said that. We've watched them play for 2 years. A lot of different guys can make a play here. And you know what? As poorly as they shot the 3, trust me, if it's a wide open one, they will keep taking it. if you're Arizona now, and especially if they stay small, they're going to try to switch everything on the perimeter to try to keep the ball in front of them. What does that do for the Bearcats? That tells me we're going to go downhill on them. Now, here's what happens. Carter Bryant at 6'8", the freshman, he's going to play defense right now. So they'll go a little bigger here. But for Cincinnati, a lot of different weapons. A lot of people can get into the paint. And Lukosius is Mr. Clutch.
Seamus Lukosius will trigger the inbounds, number 41 in white. He had 3 game winners last year for the Bearcats. What can Cincinnati dial up here in the final 30 seconds to try to tie this game?
Arizona switched.
Here's Skillings, short on the 3, out of bounds. Arizona basketball with 25.3 left.
Looks like Tony Petit is going to take a look at it. He seemed to have a good view of it, so this should be a quick review.
The out of bounds call is being reviewed.
It's close. It's definitely something you have to look at.
Arizona leads by 2. If the call stands, they will have the basketball. And the next Cincinnati foul will send Arizona to the free throw line. Wildcats are 15 for 20 from the free throw line this afternoon. Cincinnati looking to avoid a second.
The call on the floor is confirmed. The clock will be set to 25.9.
So it is Arizona basketball.
Now here's the bad news for the Bearcats. Those 3 guards, Love, Lewis, Bradley, are all outstanding free throw shooters. And Tommy Lloyd, who was not born yesterday, is going to do everything in his power to make sure one of those 3 touch it. Del Orso, he's only 80%.
Yeah. Dylan Mitchell back on the floor for defensive purposes for Wes Miller. Full court pressure. The head of the snake is Jizzle James.
I would trap a couple times before I fouled.
25.9 to go. And a foul called immediately.
Now, we mentioned this earlier. Bradley, 83% career, but he did miss 2 just a short time ago. I doubt seriously he'll miss 2 this time.
Carter Bryant checks back in for Tommy Lloyd. And Jaden Bradley will step to the free throw line. 79% on the season, 0 for 2 today. And he calmly nails the front end of the 1-and-1.
He'll probably make this second one, and that'll be a 4-point game. If you're Cincinnati, you race it up the floor. Don't have to shoot a tough 3, but get something going to the rim so you can score and set up your press.
Bearcats out of timeouts. And Bradley goes 2 for 2. Now Vesar goes out, and Awaka checks in for Tommy Lloyd. Cincinnati lost their Big 12 opener on the road by 3. They're down by 4 now in their home opener. Skillings drives, it's blocked, and Caleb Love comes away with it. And he's immediately fouled by Dylan Mitchell, and that's Mitchell's 5th.
A little bit of a sigh of relief right now. Game's not over, but we kept talking about the poise of Arizona. Listen, Rich, it's hard to have a 19-point lead on the road in a place like this. So credit the Bearcats for fighting back, but we kept using that word poise. And when you have 3 veteran guards the way Tommy Lloyd does, he's riding with those guys. They only play 8, and that's how it's going to be all season.
Love missed it. And the ball goes the way of the Arizona Wildcats again.
And once again, They will take a look
The call
at
on the
this.
floor is being reviewed.
And there are some people in this building that need to catch flights tonight. But you got to do your due diligence right here. And you know what? Let me say this, Rich. This is a good good officiating crew. This is a hard game. The league is hard. They've gone to the monitor a lot. They've got the calls right. These guys are all Final Four officials. Thing about Cincinnati right now, it's a 20-game league, okay? It's not an NBA schedule, but it's a long season, and what you got to do is you got to keep your team up. Wes Miller right now is not happy.
Let's take a look at what's up next for Cincinnati. And you know,
easy.
with the Big 12, it's never easy. They go on the road to Baylor, who got punked today by Iowa State. Then they are home for a game against the Kansas Jayhawks.
The call on the floor is confirmed. The game clock will be set to 13.7.
So it will be Arizona basketball. They had a couple of ticks on the clock, 13.7 remaining. So you would imagine, obviously, Cincinnati going to foul right away.
Gonna throw it deep if they have it deep.
They get it in to Lewis, and the foul on Skillings.
Fouls on the Bearcats, number 0, Dan Skillings Jr. His third, team's 9.
Arizona will hopefully beat this weather out of town and head to Morgantown tomorrow as part of a 2-game East Coast road trip. I always felt when you had this kind of schedule and you're out of school, get the hard road trips out of the way early. And in the Big 12, because you have to go across the country at times, they're going to get the one of these trips out of the way early.
This is their first time playing in the state of Ohio in 30 years. And boy, this will be one they'll remember for a long time.
They'll stay overnight tonight, and wherever they go to dinner, maybe the Precinct, maybe Pep and Dolores's. We had a great meal last night there. They're going to be happy. Road wins. You can give them Subway sandwiches. It's going to taste like filet mignon when you win on the road.
So another gut-wrenching loss for the Cincinnati Bearcats, who will fall to 0-2 in Big 12 play.
There'll be another foul coming. Timeout by Tommy Lloyd. Now, unlike the NBA, you can't advance this ball, so it's going to come in quick. Cincinnati will foul right away, and we'll still be here for a little while longer.
Well, you mentioned Arizona's upcoming schedule. They go on the road at West Virginia, who's been a pleasant surprise so far, despite Tucker DeVries not playing. And then after that, a very tough game in Tucson against UCF, followed by another home game against the Baylor Bears.
The thing about the Big 12 this year, it's not the best league in the country. It has been for basically the last decade. But Houston, Arizona, Kansas particularly, all have room to get better and better. And we know how good the SEC's been. It's probably an historic year for them. But I really, really like what Arizona's done today, because when the Big 12 is at its best in the future, Arizona, Kansas particularly have to be really good. Baylor, of course. You know what you're getting out of Houston. They've got a great class coming in. Iowa State, magnificent job. They blew out Baylor today. BYU.
Arizona, such a fixture in the AP Top 25 for the last couple of decades. They're not there now, but a win today on the road against 16th ranked Cincinnati could put them back in that top 25.
Well, it helps them, Rich, but more importantly, the ranking doesn't mean anything. You know that. You and I both know that. But more importantly is watching them grow and get better.
Yeah, and a quad one win.
Yes.
If there ever was one.
Tommy Lloyd told us the worst thing about losing to UCLA in a game they led by double figures, or losing in Atlantis, is just not getting quad one opportunities on the resume. Now, if there's a steal, and you're the white jerseys, you cannot shoot a 2. You have to kick it out for a 3.
Now Wes Miller doing exactly what Tommy Lloyd did, putting the big man on the inbounds pass. They get it in, and they get a foul called with 1 second left. Well, maybe a little quietly, Jaden Bradley has starred today for the Arizona Wildcats.
What did he do early in this game that we thought was a key?
Took it to the hole.
Got downhill, got to the basket, made plays for himself and others. You know, and having KJ Lewis come off the bench gives Bradley and Love a chance to get going, and then KJ comes in as that like super energizer, Kenny Johnson, microwave, and bulldog defender.
And you hear the U of A chants. Wildcat faithful making the trip to the Midwest, and a successful one at that. That's knocked out of bounds, and it's academic at this point. Arizona's going to improve to 8-5 on the season, 4 straight wins for a Tommy Lloyd team that had lost 4 of their last 5, and another heartbreaker of a loss for Wes Miller and the Bearcats.